You open your eyes. There is no ceiling. You are alone with the stars. At this hour, the sky over the Egyptian desert is so deep, so vast that you forget where you are. You turn your head and feel the stone ground beneath your back. You hear the breathing of the others beside you. You look at your hands. They are barely visible in the dark, but you can feel them. The roughness of your palms, the dull ache in your knuckles, the white dust embedded under your nails. This dust is limestone dust. It got there weeks ago. It is not easy to get rid of anymore. You stand up and take a look around. The men beside you are still fast asleep. There are 12 of you in the same room, all from the same village, sharing the same fate, carrying the same exhaustion. You have gotten used to this now. The snoring kept you awake in the first weeks, but now it almost comforts you. You step outside and the cold of the stone ground spreads under your feet, rising up through your calves. And you actually like it. It wakes you up, brings you back here, to this day, to this morning. When you look at the sky, it is no longer completely black. It shifts between deep purple and blue, and then you notice a thin orange line on the horizon. The sun is not there yet, but it is rising slowly. You stop and look at the plateau. Right there, catching that thin orange light first, the structure rises. You have seen the same sight every morning for 4 years. It does not feel impossible anymore. It just feels like a simple job. Soon breakfast will be distributed, but before that you walk toward the work site. The paths are familiar. You could find your way with your eyes closed. You have memorized every dip, every slope. Men pass by you, some greeting you, others just nodding with half-closed eyes. One taps your shoulder as he walks past, and you respond the same way every morning. This small gesture has become a kind of language between you, something that needs no words. You arrive at the work site, you eat your breakfast, thin bread and beer, but you should know this. The workers in Egypt were not slaves. Most people do not know that. In the 1990s, when archaeologists excavated worker tombs on the Giza Plateau, everything changed. There were bones in those tombs, and those bones told a story. Some had fractures that had healed over time, which meant someone had cared for the injured. There were doctors here, bakers, brewers, butchers. The state fed you, treated you, and buried you when you died. This was not slavery. This was something entirely different. You finish your breakfast. At that moment, a voice rises over the worksite. Sharp, clear, familiar. It is not yours. It belongs to the Emirah. In Egyptian, Emirah means the one above others, the chief overseer, the man in charge of you and thousands more. There are at least 3 Emirah on the plateau today, each responsible for a different section. But above them all is one name, Hemiunu. You have never seen Hemiunu, and you never will. He is the nephew of Pharaoh Khufu and the architect of this structure. He designed this pyramid in his mind. Every angle, every block's placement, every corridor, every chamber. Years ago, he imagined something, and now you carry that vision, block by block. Your overseer gives the command. You glance at your team. Your team has a name. Every team does. Yours is called Friends of Khufu. The first time you heard it, you laughed. Now you feel proud, strange but true. You grab the rope and pull with all your strength. Your body already knows what to do. You do not think anymore. You just pull. The men beside you pull too. The block begins to move. Slowly, heavily, stubbornly. An average pyramid block weighs 2.5 tons. You sometimes try to imagine that, but the number means nothing to your hands. Hands do not understand numbers. They only feel. The weight passes through your shoulders, spreads across your back, down to your heels. You feel it everywhere. The sun rises. The heat begins. Sweat runs into your eyes, but you do not wipe it away. Your hands are fixed to the rope. In these early hours, everything is clearer. The sound of hammers, the commands, the breathing of other workers. In the afternoon, everything becomes heavier, sounds blur. But now it is morning, there is a rhythm, and you are inside it. The first block is set, then another, and here you pause because this needs to be said. You are not forced to do this. This is important. For centuries, history told it wrong. Slave armies, whips, chains, but the truth is different. You came here from your village during the flooding of the Nile, when the fields were underwater and there was no work. The state called you and you came, because this was not just a job. This was working for the pharaoh. And in Egypt, the pharaoh was not just a king. The pharaoh was a god, and you were building a god's house. That belief wakes you every morning. At midday, you move into the shade. Someone brings you bread, thick and a bit dry, but you are hungry, and hunger turns it into the best thing in the world. The man next to you says something funny. You laugh, even though you did not quite hear it. Your eyes close for a moment. The sun touches your face. And in that quiet, you think, how long have you been here? When you first arrived 4 years ago, the pyramid was barely there, just a leveled plateau, a dug foundation. Now it is nearly 100 meters tall, and it is not finished. Decades more remain, but you will not be here until the end. You will return to your village. Maybe your son, or your son's son, will come to work here. Maybe they will see it finished, but you will not. Does that make you sad? Sometimes. But most of the time, no, because you are already here. Your hands have touched these stones. You carried these blocks. Your labor has become part of this structure. Work resumes in the afternoon. The sun leans westward, shadows stretch. Sometimes you stop and watch others work. These men are not just carrying stones. They ensure everything is perfect. There is no room for error here. The blocks are placed so precisely that not even a sheet of paper could fit between them. Thousands of years later, people will look at this precision and not believe it. They will ask how it was done without modern machines, but the answer is simple. Thousands of people repeating the same task every day, thousands of times, getting a little better each time. That is how perfection comes. The day ends. The sun approaches the horizon. The final command comes. Release. You let go of the rope. You open your hands and look at your palms. New marks are there, ones that were not there yesterday. Tomorrow they will harden. Your body adapts. To pain, to weight, to the sun, you return. Dinner is distributed. Fish from the Nile salted. The smell reminds you of something. You cannot quite name it. Maybe your village, maybe your mother's cooking, maybe just another time you talk with the men, short, tired conversations. The weather tomorrow, who has a sore back, when you will return home, and it is enough. Nightfall, the sky darkens again. The stars return. You lie down. The stone beneath your back feels familiar now, almost like home. Your eyes grow heavy. Tomorrow you will wake before sunrise again. Drink water again. Look at the plateau again. Grip the rope again. The structure will rise a little more, but not now. Now there is only this: breath, silence, the vast, endless sky above the desert. Years pass. From 2560 to 2551 BCE, 9 years. Each year the structure rises. You change too. Your hair turns gray. The limestone dust never leaves your hands. It feels like part of your skin now, but you are still here. And one morning, years later, when you step onto the plateau, something is different. People are standing still. No one speaks, they just look. And you look too. The pyramid is finished. Now those two words keep turning in your mind, but your mind cannot fully grasp them. As if you are trying to lift something too heavy and your hands can no longer hold it. For 9 years, every morning you rose from the same cold ground, drank water from the same jar, walked to the same plateau, gripped the same rope with the same hands. And now that structure stands there, complete. Its white limestone casing catches the first light of morning and reflects it so strongly that you squint, as if you are looking at the sun twice. One in the sky, one on the ground. You have never seen anything like this in the middle of the desert. No one has. because nothing like this has ever been built before. The shapes Himiunu once drew on papyrus, the numbers, the angles, all of it is now stone, completely real. And you are part of it with your hands, your back, every morning you sweated through. This feeling is worth the weight of 9 years. Around you there are men. Some are crying silently without turning their faces, without wiping their tears. Some are laughing loudly, not even knowing why. Some just stand and look like you. Because sometimes in the face of something immense, a person can only stand still. One of you says something, you do not hear it, and you start laughing too. Your laughter echoes across the desert, maybe reaching the very top of the structure. You do not know, but it feels like it. The Amira approaches you, the man you have worked under for years, the one who arrives first every morning and leaves last every evening. Hard gaze, few words. He never says when something is done wrong and rarely when something is done right. He just looks and moves on, and that look has always been enough. Now he looks at you and slowly nods. That is all. But in 9 years, it is the greatest compliment he has ever given you, and you know it. You nod back. Then he turns and walks away, and you look at the structure again. You think this. Pharaoh Khufu had this built for his soul after death. According to belief, the soul will travel with the sun during the day, spend the night among the stars, and this pyramid will be its gateway to the world, the passage into eternity, the threshold between two worlds. You believe this with all your heart, tired but whole. And because of that, what you have done feels different now, deeper, greater. You did not just carry stones, you built the door of a god. And that door now stands there open, and it will remain here forever. Now it is time to return home. You will go back to your village, to the small settlement by the Nile, to the fields, the narrow paths, the familiar voices. When you hear this, something strange and nameless stirs inside you. You are happy, yes. But you also feel that something is closing. Not a page, a whole book. And that feeling is so intertwined with joy that you cannot separate them. The day of departure comes. In the morning, the team gathers. The same 12 men, all from the same village. You see the changes in each other. Gray in your hair, lines on your faces, that permanent hardness in your hands. But in your eyes, there is something else. It was there 9 years ago too, but now it is deeper, settled. The look of a craftsman. Someone who knows his work, who recognizes the weight he has carried and who kept going anyway. You look at the plateau one last time. The sun rises and the structure shines. Its white limestone casing fills the horizon, and you think, this will stand here for thousands of years. You will go. The pharaoh will go. Himiunu will go. The Amira will go. Every man who worked here will go, but these stones will remain forever. And within these stones is your labor, your mornings, your sweat, invisible but real. You begin to walk, you turn back once, and strangely, the farther you go, the larger the structure seems. It fills the sky, the horizon, everything. Then it disappears behind a bend, and you keep walking. You reach the Nile, boats are ready. The river flows slowly as always, patient, unstoppable, carrying everything as it has for thousands of years. You step onto the boat. There is the sound of water, of oars, of distant voices. A light breeze touches your face, and when it does, your eyes close. And in that moment, for the first time, you realize how tired you are. A deep, bone-settled exhaustion. But there is something else too, not quite peace, something heavier, something earned. Years later, in your village, when you are much older, your grandchildren will sit on your knees and ask, "Grandfather, what did you do when you were young?" And you will tell them, "I carried stones," you will say at first. Then you will pause, but not just stones, you will say, "I built the door of a god." Will they understand? Will they believe? You do not know, but you know, and that structure still stands there, and your hands are there. Nothing can erase that. The boat moves slowly. Your eyes grow heavy. The Nile carries you just as it carries everything else without hurry, gently toward home. You breathe in, you let go. The river flows, the stars appear. Your hands, tired, hardened, white with limestone, finally rest, and everything slowly, quietly settles. When morning comes, the color of the Nile changes. The black water of the night turns brown, the color of earth, the color of life. You look at it from the edge of the boat and something inside you loosens. A tension you did not notice for years, not in your shoulders but deeper, somewhere in your chest. It fades slowly like water. The shores begin to change. First, there was only desert on both sides. Yellow, empty, endless, then something appears. A thin green line, then trees, then the edges of fields, and at some point, so gradual you cannot say when, a familiar smell reaches you. Nile mud, crops, smoke, home. The boat slows. The oars dip more carefully into the water. People are waiting on the shore, and before you recognize them, they recognize you. Because you are not the same man who left 9 years ago. You are heavier, quieter. There is something lived in on your hands and your face. But in your eyes, there is something that has not changed. And they recognize that. Someone calls your name. For a moment, it feels strange, as if they are calling someone else. Then you understand. It is your name. It has just been a long time since anyone said it like this. With warmth, with ease, like home, you step onto the land. The ground is different, not stone, but soil. Soft, slightly damp. The softness feels so unfamiliar under your feet that you stop after one step. Then another. Then you keep going. The village takes you in. Narrow paths, low walls, elders sitting by their doors. They stand when they see you nodding. And this nod is different from the Amira's nod, but it carries the same weight. Maybe more, because these are your people. The ones who knew you as a child. The ones who spoke your name when you were gone. Days pass, weeks. You slowly relearn village life. Field work is different from pulling blocks, but your body knows. Your hands release limestone and take hold of soil. The change happens quietly. One morning you wake up and you are in the fields and it feels normal. And that normalcy is the most beautiful thing, but nights are different. For a long time they remain different, because when you close your eyes you hear sounds. Hammers, ropes, hundreds of men breathing. These are not dreams, they are clear, real, as if you are still there. Then slowly you open your eyes. There is a ceiling, not stone but mud. Low, familiar, the ceiling that raised you, and slowly everything settles. You remember where you are, you remember you are home. At first this takes minutes, then seconds, then almost nothing. One morning you open your eyes, see the ceiling and smile, without fully knowing why. And it is a good morning. Seasons pass. The Nile floods and recedes. Wheat grows, is harvested, grows again. You find your place in this cycle. It is different from the hard rhythm of the plateau, slower, wider, full of breath. One day your son comes to you, young, strong, his hands still soft. There is a familiar light in his eyes, a mix of curiosity and excitement. He says, "The state is calling. There is a construction. Should I go?" You stay silent for a while. You look at your hand. The white dust is gone now. It took years, but it is gone. But the lines remain, and with them, everything returns. The first morning, the cold water, the orange line on the horizon, the voice of the Amira, the weight of the block, and at the end, that shining structure. You look at your son. "Go," you say. Then you add one more thing. Your hands will remember something even if your mind forgets. He does not understand yet, but he will. Years pass. Your hair turns completely white. Your knees take a moment to hold you when you stand. Your eyes do not see the night as they once did, but you still go to the fields. Movement always felt better. You learned that long ago. In the evenings, you sit by your door, you hear the village, children, animals, the distant sound of water. And sometimes when the wind blows from the east, you close your eyes and listen. There is something in that wind. You have always felt it. It carries something. Not words, not exactly sound. Maybe it is imagination. Maybe it is age. But sometimes in that wind, you hear the plateau, the breathing of thousands of men, the pull of ropes. And it does not make you sad, it fills you with something warm, heavy, and beautiful. Your grandchildren come in the evenings, they sit on your knees. Tell us, they say, and you smile every time you begin the same way. There was a morning, you say, very early, the sun was not up yet, and I was rising. They listen because there is something in your voice, a weight, something earned. Even if they do not fully understand, they feel it. One night they are asleep, the village is quiet. You are still sitting outside looking at the sky. The stars are there, they are always there, they do not change, you do. And under those stars, somewhere to the east, that structure still stands. You know it, you cannot see it, but you know, thousands of years from now, people will look at it and ask, how was it built? Who built it? And they will not know the name. Faces will be gone, stories will fade, but the stones will remain. And inside those stones, there is something. Invisible but real, silent but unerasable, and that something passed through your hands, through your mornings, through that cold water, through that orange horizon, and that, just that, is enough. Your eyes close. Your head leans forward slightly. There is a breeze light from the Nile. It touches your face. It feels so familiar, so old. As if the river knows you, you breathe in, you let go, and the night continues, quiet, patient. The stars turn so slowly you cannot see it, but they turn. The structure stands. Your hands rest. And everything, exactly as it should be, is in its place.